So anytime that people ask me how I'm doing, that's a greeting, right? How are you doing? Especially in this town. Most common answer is, I'm good, right? I'm well, whatever it is. I always like to say, I am unstoppable. Every single time, because I believe the most powerful two words in the English language are I am, right? So every time somebody greets you and you say, I'm good, you've said that tens of thousands of times. Is that all you are? Maybe right now. You want to change it? A man's life or what his thoughts make of it. Chris, what's some of the biggest impact that your digital marketing has made? And guys, I'm talking about social media specifically today. However, when it comes to email marketing, I would say nobody's as good as that dude right there. I get emails from him. Well, first of all, I'm a repeat customer. He's moved my whole family like a bunch of times. And but I get emails from Chris every single week, multiple times a week. So when it comes time to move something, there's no question on who we call because he's always top of mind, right? Who wants to volunteer as to why you think you're not winning on social media? Somebody just stand up and let's go. Go for it. I'm picking on you today because you got a good hat on.
I haven't put in the time.
You haven't put in the time?
No.
How come?
Partly because I didn't know where to focus, partly because I chose to focus on my family, and not really taking the time to invest to understand it well enough.
Gotcha. Do you guys actually believe the hype that it's real? That it is effective? Does everybody here actually believe that? Like what I've found is people don't do something or they quit for one of two reasons. They don't believe that they can actually do it, or they don't believe that the hype is real. It comes down to one of those two things. So I want you to ask yourself right now, are you not doing it because you don't believe the hype is real, or because you don't believe you can actually do it? Right? And it's really not that hard. I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit. So here's some things you can expect today. We're going to talk about content consistency. You just heard a little bit about that. What are the top 3 takeaways that you guys just learned for the last from the last speaker? Because it was good. What are 3 takeaways that y'all learned? Who wants to volunteer a couple things? What's that? A post a day? Absolutely. Another question. If you did 1 post a day, is it fair to say that if you did 2 posts a day that you might double the size of your audience in business? Or 3 posts a day? Right? Yes, sir.
It's less about your business, more about you.
Okay. I agree with that. So personal brand, we're talking a little bit about that today. Yes.
Because 75% of what's going to interest somebody else not be just about your business.
Absolutely. So again, social media, it's called social media. So how social is your media? Right? You can ask that question. And 2, like, you post, everything that you post is for somebody else, right? So most common thing I get is I don't know what to post. Well, why are you making it about you? It's not for you. That's selfish. You know what I mean? I don't feel comfortable bragging about myself. Again, you're making it about you. What about all the people that need your help? People can't do business with you if they don't know you're there. Right? So, and if every one of you were where you want to be in your business today, is it safe to say that you wouldn't be here? If you're winning and kicking butt and life's great, you probably wouldn't be here today. You'd be like, no, I got it all figured out, right? So we can all agree that we want to grow and we want to learn. And I'm 43 years old, guys. And literally 3 nights ago, my father, who runs a nonprofit in amateur sports and youth baseball, is getting his tail kicked a little bit by some of the younger organizations because they're relevant on social, where his audience is, and he's not. So on Saturday night, at like 10 o'clock at night in my home office, my dad and I are in there, and I'm literally showing Pop how to, Dad, now remember, this is where we stored your Instagram login. Okay? All right, and this is called a story, right? And a caption and so on and so forth. And if you want to post a picture, let's just do that. And let's start there, okay? So first of all, age is just a number, man, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Like you just got to kick that under the curb immediately. So we're going to talk about some content consistency. We're going to talk about some marketing strategy, and then we're going to have a lot of Q&A, guys. I feed off of you, and I'm here for you. Okay? So if something I'm saying is going over your head or a little bit, like raise your hand. Let's talk about it. Okay? It's really important to me that this is an impactful hour with you guys today because that's what I came here for. There's a lot of other things I could be doing, right? But I want to be here to help you guys, and I've got some things I want to tell you about, right? So you guys ready to rock and roll? Are y'all ready to rock and roll? Come on. All right. So normally when I come out, they play the song, Every Day I'm Hustling. Y'all know that song? All right. So first thing that usually comes out of my mouth is, guys, I know that song don't match what you see up here. You know what I'm saying? The most common thing they might want to hear is like some John Denver. Who knows John Denver? Y'all know John Denver? Yeah, I look a little bit like John Denver maybe. All right, so check it out. Beyond every transaction, there is a story. Beyond every transaction, there is a story, okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself to start. So you know who's talking to you today. That's literally, that photo's from this past Easter Sunday. Happy Easter. And we took that at church. That is my family right there. I'm a husband and a father. The last boss I had was the Florida Marlins. Been a business owner ever since for the last 15 plus years. I've been in branding and marketing for a little over 20 years. I've launched over 150 businesses and agencies, generated over $200 million since 2016, as a matter of fact. Played 6 years of professional baseball. My wife and I are former restaurant and club owners. I'm currently the president of Team Hyder, which is our insurance company that we founded in 2013. Team Hyder also serves as an umbrella corporation for all of our investments and portfolio pieces. I'm just going to tell you right now, I met a guy, you guys would know him on Instagram or on social media platforms as the Real Brad Lee. And I met him in 2020. And at that time, video was really making a move on social. It's crazy to think that was like almost like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? But I met Brad, and because he was interested in getting in the insurance space, and we were doing really well in insurance, specifically on social media, which is rare in that industry. So, but back then we were doing it with only static images, only photos. We didn't do any video, 0 videos, period. And I met Brad in 2020, and he looked at my Instagram. He said, "You're not doing any videos." I said, "Yeah, we're doing pretty good with pictures." And he said, "Well, how good would you be doing with videos?" And I was like, "I don't know." He goes, "You want to find out?" So I immediately hired somebody to edit my stuff. I paid my office manager, Dale, the super mail, I showed him how to set my iPhone on a tripod and push record and make sure it don't stop until I'm done saying whatever I say. And we just started recording me doing stuff around the office and conference calls. He edited those videos, and we posted them on my social media platforms. Brad immediately called and said, "Dude, that was quick turnaround." So he called me and invited me to go on his podcast. At that time, I thought podcasts were dumb. And I went on his podcast, and I walked in the studio, and I thought, dang, this is crazy. I love this. This is fantastic. I need one of these. His studio was state-of-the-art. It was beautiful. And then his podcast came out, and overnight, I got like 10,000 new followers the day that it aired. And I was converted at that time. I was a believer at that moment. So I came home, and I told my wife that we're building a studio. She said, "All right, let's do it." So we built the studio, and once we built it, a few people found out about it, and they said, "Hey, can we use your studio?" And I thought, yeah. They're like, "Well, what would you charge for it?" And I was like, "Well, that's a good question." Right? We turned it into a business because people were calling, asking to use the studio, and then people started saying, "Hey, can I hire your team that edits your stuff?" So on and so forth. And that's where the HitLab Creative Studios came from. I'm the host of the Hitstreak podcast. I believe episode number 128 came out today. And I'm the voice of a Sirius XM radio station called Y'Alternative. All right. And right now it's in-app only, but I highly encourage you to give it a listen. You'll hear me on there saying all kinds of fun, quirky things. Oh, shoot, that one wasn't supposed to be in there. So I grew up here in Nashville, just like y'all did, in a middle-class home with my butt hanging too far into the toilet, just like all kids do. You know what I mean? The point is I grew up, I've known Jeff since we were kids. I went to Hillsborough High School, as you're going to see right there. And that kid right there was a very good baseball player. He was nice. He didn't drink. He didn't do drugs. He made straight A's. But he never asked the girl for the date. Right? He was shy. He was shy. He didn't get the deal either. In college, I went to Trevecca Nazarene University, where I played baseball, and I was on both a baseball and a music scholarship. I graduated in about 8 years, right? So it happens. It happens. But, you know, I was playing professional ball for 4 of those, so it was something I was doing in my spare time. And when I say my spare time, I waited till I'd retired from baseball and did it all in one semester when I got back, right? So, but I did finish. I'm a big believer in finishing, not quitting, right? But they look and smell very much alike. You know, the difference is like the beginning of something is in the end of something else. And if you quit, you don't get that gift. You know what I mean? You have to finish things. You have to finish things. All right, I played 6 years of professional baseball. It was the time of my life. What I found out literally in the last couple of years about that journey is my goal was always to play professional baseball. And I did. What I really wanted to do was be the catcher for the New York Yankees. I didn't make the right goal. I accomplished my goal. But my target wasn't small enough. My target wasn't refined. The best at anything can hit the smallest targets, right? The best shot can hit the smallest target, okay? And like your GPS, everybody used their GPS to get here today? What happens if you just type in Nashville? Where is it going to take you? You got to give it a specific destination, right? Well, you have to do that with everything that you want to be successful in, including your social media. All right? Again, as a man's thoughts, or a man's life, or what his thoughts make of it. That's my wife, Rhiannon. A lot of people know her around here. Just to kind of go along with the pattern of my education, I met her in 2003, where I was immediately blown away by her looks. And I asked her out. She said, nope. And 6 years later, I got my first date. I think I'd asked her out about 1,000 times. And I finally got her. There was literally just nobody else left to go out with. And I got her. And I've been with her ever since. That's our first date, December 31st, 2007. And that little timestamp at the bottom of that little logo, lazyday.com, that was a marketing company that we owned at the time. In the club business, I was a resident DJ in some of the best places Nashville had at the time. This is this right here. That's another marketing company that we owned called Gone City back then. The point is everything that I've actually gone and tried to do, I worked my way up until I made it to elite levels, right? I did it in college sports and music. I did it in professional sports. In the nightclub business, we ended up being owners. I was a DJ of some of the best establishments, hottest establishments that downtown Nashville had to offer prior to 2014 when I decided that lifestyle wasn't good for me. It was hard to grow when all your revenue's done past 10 p.m. and there's a lot of booze involved, right? Great job in your 20s. When you got a son at home and a girl that you got to do right by, I don't recommend it. My son was born, look at that kid up there holding that little boy. We had no idea what we were doing. He was born in 2009. My wife and I were still not yet married because we couldn't afford to get married. We got married in 2014, and we had a big party in 2015. My son went to his mom and dad's wedding. I don't recommend that either. He still remembers it, right? So we can't undo that. All right, but the reasons were right. See, we got, I proposed to her literally on that night or our first date in 2007. We got married in 2014, celebrated with our friends when we could finally have enough money to have a reception in 2015. And then, literally in 2021, our daughter was born. She turns 3 in less than a week. And, all I can tell you is raising kids after 40. Anybody done that? It's different. It's different. My wife and I are literally at our prime right now, and we're getting less done than we ever have, right? Because our son's 14. He played at Vanderbilt yesterday, 2 baseball games in the middle of the day. It was hard to get a lot done, but I wasn't going to miss it, right? We spent about an hour and a half a day driving him around. I got to take him to Thompson Station tonight for music lessons. Our daughter's in, what's that? Rodeo? That's a new one. So we're going to talk about that in a minute for sure. Needless to say, having a daughter is fantastic. I love it. My wife and I have been very blessed. Since 2016, we've been featured in some of the biggest publications that are out there. And since 2016, that's really all the things that I told you we'd accomplished up to today is from 2016 to now. Up till then, it was a whole lot of losses and lessons learned. You know what I'm saying? In 2015, we were literally still broke. This is us today, right? Life's good. We're extremely blessed. And, but again, it's a lot of hard work. Now, it takes more than hard work, okay? You guys agree that the garbage man works hard? Don't make a lot of money, though. It takes more than just hard work. You know what I mean? So if it takes more than hard work, it takes some intelligence. It takes a plan, right? It takes a certain belief system in whatever it is that you do and how you're going to help people, but more importantly, how many people you're going to help. My buddy Brad tells a story I tell every time I speak. He said, you know, if you are not where you want to be, you have to get new information. You have to change your beliefs. And the only way to change your beliefs is to get new information. All right, Brad, what does that mean? He said, well, somebody once told me fire was hot and I didn't believe them. So I stuck my hand in it. I got some new information. All right, get new information, okay? Now, we're talking about personal brand and digital marketing. Everybody on this slide right here, I had never done any business with prior to building an audience on social media or a podcast. All right, and just on that wall alone, there's a few NCAA national championships and roughly $4 billion in take-home monies on that one screen right there. All right. Again, social media, audience, and a podcast are why those guys, why I got to spend any time with them at all. And it's been life-changing. Which led me to my mission today, which is breaking down the playbook of top performers so that you can get to that next level too. Everybody that is winning today and is successful to a certain standard has some form of personal brand or reputation online. When you Google them, certain things pop up. Okay? When you Google yourself, what do you see? Do you like what you see? Do you see anything? So how is it going to be easy for you to do business with somebody else if your competition's what they find? It's not necessarily what you do. It's what you can do up against everybody else in your space. Right? If you got kids, this rings true, but have you ever audited yourself? People are spending 6 to 8 hours a day or more looking at a screen on a device. All right? In that time frame, when they're on there, are they going to find you or your competition? You got to ask yourself that, right? Now, it's my opinion that if your customers or potential customers see somebody else, you're going to lose those people to the person they find online. You guys believe that? If you don't, let's talk about it. I'm prepared. Bring it. I love the engagement, right? Do you guys believe that? All right, so again, what's stopping you from doing it? What's stopping you from doing it? People can't buy from you if they don't know about you. Right? Okay, so think about all the people that go with your competitor. I believe that if you go with somebody else, they're not going to care as much about you as I will. They're not going to work as hard as I will. So you made the wrong choice. I failed you if you're not doing business with me. I truly feel that way. Do you guys feel that way? Yes? Who said that? I love that. My man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. A man's life or what his thoughts make of it, right? One of the projects we're working on is Coach Bert's Greatness Factory downtown. I'm going to talk to you guys about that in just a moment. But check it out. Here's the buyer's journey, man. Everybody starts with awareness, right? That's what those little clips online generate. That's what those photos, that's what your posts do. They create awareness, right? That leads to discovery, all right? They've discovered that you're there, which if they like what they see, they will start to consider whatever it is that you're talking about, if they need that in their life, right? Which leads to, if you do a good job with that, can lead to a conversion. Might be you've converted a prospect into a lead. Might be you've converted a lead into a buyer, right? And from conversion leads to relationship, and then relationship to retention, which is what we all want, right? Warren Buffett even said that the purpose of a business is to create a customer that brings new customers. The best customer is the returning customer. So I'm Chris Knowles' best customer, right? Even if he won't admit it, I'm going to say that I am. I'm going to say that I am because I've been back multiple times. You know what I mean? And when we move out of our current location into our new one later this year, I promise you, you know who I'm calling, right? But again, customers have to understand who it is that they're doing business with. All right? So The reputation formula. All right? Your reputation is your results times your reach. All right? There's two worlds we live in. Everybody can agree, the people that know you, you have a reputation around town, right? All right? What's your reputation online? Does it match? And again, your results times your reach. So what you have accomplished times how many people know about it. Would you agree that the more people that know how great you are at what you do, the better and bigger your business will be? Right? It makes sense, right? I believe there's two types of content marketing, informative and transformative. All right? Informative is where people come in and give you a bunch of information that can be easily forgotten. Transformative marketing, it's where you make somebody feel a certain way that they will remember, right? So you're not going to remember half of what I said today, but you will remember how I made you feel. That's why I come out to that song that's totally opposite from what I look like every day, because people remember that. Everything that I do, from the t-shirt that I wore to the shoes that I wear, has a purpose, and it's because I want to get your attention. I want you to remember me. I don't want to be just like everybody else. I'll tell a quick story. The first keynote that I ever did was to a bunch of insurance people when we were new to the space. We were talking about marketing. And I was wearing my best Navy suit. And I got up there and I got on stage and I did a good job and I thought I killed it. And then I went to the bar. They were setting up for the next person to speak. And there was two guys. I'm right here up against the bar, and there's two guys waiting on their drinks from the bartender, and they're talking about what I just said. Right? So I'm like, heck yeah, man, they got it. And they looked right at me and they're like, hey, did you hear that guy say that? And I looked around and noticed that everybody else in there was wearing the same Navy suit I had on. And I had the same bad haircut. Right? I looked just like everybody else in there. I wasn't memorable. I wasn't memorable, and I was the guy that was on stage. Right? So everything that you do when you put, like that guy's memorable right there. That's a sharp outfit. What's your name? Mark, you probably do pretty well, don't you? You're probably pretty successful. That's right. You're probably pretty successful, though. Yours. Absolutely. Yours is the only one that matters.
I don't compare myself to anybody, so yes, I'm in my opinion, I'm successful.
Seriously, to address like that, which I love, you got to care about yourself. You got to be comfortable with yourself. You know what I mean? Allodoxophobia is fear of other people's opinions. You have it?
I think you should.
Huh?
I think you should.
You should.
People should wake up.
They should.
Worry about what other people are going to see and think.
Well, you know, again, how can you expect somebody to like you if you don't like you? You're asking them to do something that you can't do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you love yourself, literally on the airplane, they're like, hey, save everybody. But you can't save anybody if your oxygen mask is still hanging up there. You got to put it on yourself first. You have to be of certain health to help anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have a good relationship with yourself. So again, informative and transformative marketing. We're going to talk about those in depth. Content is designed to find your audience, guys, because again, they can search everything. It's all searchable through keywords, SEO, and everything else, right? So everything that you're designing is to find your audience. It's for somebody else. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It doesn't matter if you like Facebook or TikTok or X or anything else. Do you want to help the customer, and do they like X? And if they like X and you want to help them, then you need to be there, right? It's not about you. So it starts with creating consistent content. Would you guys agree that the commercials that you see on network TV, that they spent millions of dollars making the commercial? Would you guys admit that they probably spent millions gaining access to the network? Like paid NBC or CBS or whoever it is millions of dollars to get access to that network? All right. So do you think that they only run that commercial once and then stop? Do you think that there's consistent times that they run that commercial over and over and over again? Isn't that what they pay for? Right? So you own your own network on all your social platforms. How consistent is your content that you're putting out? The same information that you consume, guys, you can use that. You can see how everybody's marketing and advertising to you, and you can pay attention to what they're doing to you. It's literally called paid programming. Right? They're programming you. Okay? Well, guess what? The playing field's leveled. You can do the same. Right? You can do the same. Now, I might be losing people here for a second, so let me pause for a moment and say, what questions do we have right now? Yes?
What do you mean by demand generation?
Say that again.
Does that say demand generation?
Where? Oh, yeah. Demand generation. Yeah, you're generating demand for your product or service. Right? Like, I believe money's abundant. You guys know where it is? It's in other people's pockets. Right? So it's in other people's pockets. So if you want it, you give them a good or a service in exchange for that money. That's literally how simple it is. Chris Knowles did something that literally anybody and everybody can do that's physically able. Pick something up and move it from one place to another. And he's turned it into a freaking national empire. Something so simple. But, Chris, not everybody wants to do it, do they? It's hard work, isn't it? Right? So not only is he solving a problem that's an easy problem to solve, right? Dude, anybody can own a moving company, can't they? Technically. Yet he's winning. He's dominating the market. Right? So the real question is why? Well, everybody take a look at that logo back here on that banner. His stuff, when you see blue, we call that at my house literally True Friends Blue. It's a color palette at our home. But that's Chris on that little cartoon right there. I love that. He's worked out a little bit since then, though. He's in better shape, but stronger, that's right. But like, look, you guys see that stuff around there? You see us moving trucks everywhere, on the roads, everything. Their email marketing, it's all about the customer. It's all about the problems that they solve and the experience that they create, right? And they're really good at it, and they do it a lot. So again, this is what the funnel looks like, right? Awareness, discovery, consideration, conversion, client relationship, and client retention. Totally taking a stranger into a super fan. I'm a fan of Chris Knowles and his moving company. I like everything he stands for. He's a good dad, an amazing husband. He's winning in life, got cool cars, diversifying his portfolio. I ain't talked to him in months. I can just tell you what I saw on his social media. What do people see when they look at yours? Right? Now, here's where it gets crazy. Check it out. We had launched a young fellow with his insurance agency. And we finally got him posting consistent content. And like most 20-somethings, he made a couple grand and was rich and didn't show up for like 2 weeks. Everybody knows those people, right? So that's what he did. But he quit posting on his social. And somebody that knew us both called me. They were worried about him. They said, hey, did he quit? Did he quit? What do you mean, did he quit? Yeah, he quit posting on his social overnight. Assumed he quit. Guys, that's your digital storefront. Right? What assumptions are people making about your work ethic based on your content consistency that you put on your socials? I'm making lots of assumptions about you and your habits and what's important to you. If you're only going to do it every once in a while, why do it at all? Right? Again, what did you want from that? Most common objection or question I get is usually like, yeah, Nick, I posted 100 times. Didn't get a lot from it. Well, first of all, my 14-year-old can do that. So that's not very, I wouldn't call that a skill set. Okay? And again, if posting 100 times was all it takes, then think about how many people would be doing that. Why would companies be spending tens of millions of dollars to advertise on the Super Bowl if all you had to do was get on Facebook or Instagram, post 100 times? Right? It's all relevant, okay? You must commit to consistent content. So what does consistent mean to you guys? Regular? Right on. Okay. What else? What does consistent mean to you guys? What is it? Cohesive. That's a good word. I like that one. What else? Keep going. Repetitive.
On brand.
On brand. So there's a lot of ways you could define consistent, right? Let's just start with the frequency. Do you guys, if you posted once a day and your competition posted 5 times a day, who do you think wins?
Depends.
Depends. How?
Well, attracting anybody to them, then what good does that 5 votes do?
I agree.
Versus your one that might be more attractive to more people.
You're exactly right. So obviously, if your commercial sucks, even if you put it on the Super Bowl, still probably ain't going to perform right. So the commercial's got to be good. Your ad's got to be good. All right? Can we all agree that making a good ad or making good content is a skill? Okay. So, which again, that's why I hired an agency. Or that's why I started an agency, I should say, because I hired all the agencies and they failed. They couldn't get it done. They weren't good enough for me, right? It was the same thing they were giving everybody else, and I'm not everybody else, right? And neither are you. I wanted something custom. So check this out, guys. Brad told me in 2020, when we started doing all this, he said, Hyder, if you start doing videos and you're repetitive, you do it every single day, multiple times a day, in 3 to 4 years, you're going to have something that produces revenue, something that you can lean on, something to launch other companies with, right? It took my wife and I 5 years to build our first 10-figure company, but once our personal brand got to a certain place, we've been able to launch multiple ones since then in a fraction of the time. So a personal brand collapses time. Okay? It collapses a lot of time, right? Now, check that out. So one of the things that we've started to study is besides time, to your point a little bit, but like with that consistency, it's taken me quite a few years to post 6,558 times just on Instagram. How many times have you posted? Take a look. Somebody get out your phone and tell me how many times you posted on Instagram. 2742, that's not bad. 874. Now, what I will tell you out of that 6,558 is think about how many lessons I learned along the way. Think about how much case study I have out of those 6,558 posts, right? The point is you can collapse time by doing more. All right? Just so you guys know what volume that I'm putting out right now, it's 4 to 5 posts every day across all of the big 6 platforms with 10 to 15 stories. Okay? That's what's working for us right now. Right? Some people have a different strategy and it works for them, but the people that I'm competing with the most, I'm trying to keep up with them. Like if you don't go on Gary Vaynerchuk's today, you're going to see 7 or 8 posts. Yes, sir.
So I have a question.
Bring it.
So, for someone, I'm just gonna say myself, I've got 4,000 friends, et cetera, what would be a happy medium for me to sit down? Because I've heard once a day, I post once or twice a week. What's a happy medium without, how would I say it, not pissing people off, but being annoying?
Well,
Where's that happy medium? And then
so, yeah, well, first of all, people that they opt in, they can unsubscribe, they can unfollow, they don't have to look at your stuff, right? So you're not doing anything for those people. And by the way, those people ain't buying nothing anyways. No, I'm marketing for the people that need to see it, not the people that don't want to see it. You know what I mean? There's certain commercials that every time they come on, I'm like, nope, don't like that commercial. I can turn it off. Your audience can too, right? So I'm not worried about making anybody mad. Again, I don't have allodoxophobia. I'm happy with myself. I'm doing the best that I can. I want to help people. And I can't help them if they can't find me. So I can't worry about that and worry about, I hope I don't make that guy mad when I make this post. As a matter of fact, some of the most engaging stuff that I got, we call it a virality rating, is some of the stuff that's conflictive. Right now I get to have open-ended conversations with people, and I get to convert them that way, and that just drives up the algorithm. So like my buddy Andy Elliott says, he says, man, to all the haters, he says, I'm going to burn their eyes out. I'm all they're going to see on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Life's an offensive sport. Marketing's offensive, not defensive. Right? So you're on the attack. You know what I mean? You got to save somebody from choosing the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? So was there a second part to your question? All right. Awesome. Again, just think about it. Like Tim McGraw ain't saying, I hope they don't play my song too much on the radio. You know what I mean? They want that sucker played as many times as can be. They want it covered on every honky tonk on Broadway. The more times you can play that song, the better. Well, what's the difference in your social media content? Right? What's the difference? So, I call them weapons of mass distribution. They're everywhere. Pick them. Post on them. What do you got to lose? You got everything to gain. Right? So, here's some formulas for you. How many of you guys use a CRM? Hopefully everybody. Do you guys track your analytics on your email marketing? Do you check, see how many people are opening your emails, reading them, do any of those things? Do you study the data that's put in front of you at all? Well, on social media right now, for instance, just on my stuff, for me to, it takes 32 touches over 20 days for me to get somebody to make a decision. 32 touches over 20 days. All right, so my dad would say 20 touches, or 32 touches over 20 days. So I'm emailing them 32 times. No, it could be a text message. It could be an email, Facebook video, YouTube clip, right? LinkedIn post, TikTok video, whatever, X. Any of those things are touches, wherever they see you. Okay? 32 times over 20 days. So, goodwill plus offer times frequency equals money. Well, I put out that goodwill for free, that video. That's goodwill. I gave it to you for free. You didn't pay for it. You didn't have to do anything to see it except for look at your phone, right? Within that video, there's going to be offers. Some of them might be subtle. Some of them might be in your face. And then I'm going to do that a lot. And that's going to equal money. Isn't that what advertising is? Isn't that what people do on TV, on radio, in newspapers? Right? If you advertise in print, do you want the smallest piece of that page or do you want the whole page? Or do you want the whole book? Right? So again, people have this right here. How much of that are they going to see of you? I want, when you open it, I just want Nick Hyder right there. You know what I'm saying? Now, check this out. I heard a speaker say this the other day and I wanted to give it to you guys. One of the things that your digital marketing needs to do is it needs to explain to people that you're going to activate your impact, or their impact, or your impact, sorry. So check this out. She said, when you live out your God-given gifts in the marketplace, that's when you make an impact. In the marketplace. In the marketplace. What's your God-given gift, sir? Empathy. And the more people that know about it, the more people you can affect with that empathy, right? Absolutely. Guys, it's all numbers. What's your God-given ability?
My God-given ability is
To understand people? Awesome. To see them? Beautiful. So the more people that you get in front of, the more people that you have the ability to help then, right? Absolutely. I love it. Goodwill plus offer times frequency equals money. All right. Now, hook plus offer plus CTA equals money. This for every post that you make, we run everything through this little formula here. All right. In the beginning of that post, whether if it's a static image, it's something that we call the hook. It's something that gets your attention. All right. If it's a video, my wife does this all the time, and I used to do it a lot. You've got like a fraction of a couple seconds to get people's attention when they're scrolling, to make them stop. All right, that's what the hook is. So my wife used to, when she would make her clips, she would always say, hey guys, Rhiannon Hyder here, scroll. Versus, stop scrolling, right? Or if she's making a post about her Arbonne stuff, talking about gut bloating or anything else, like, is your stomach swollen? That gets people to stop. Wait a minute, what'd she say? You got to get their attention, okay? Now, once you've got their attention, you're making offers, okay? And then, if you got their attention, they like what you said, you got to give them what to do next. That's the call to action. There's an array of calls to actions. Once a month, when I'm shooting content, we call them batch days, at the studio, the first thing I'll shoot is 5 or 6 calls to action videos that every single thing that I say, that one of those call to action videos will be placed at the end of that clip. Right? So, for instance, let's see. If I'm going to give you guys a hook about reach more people online, and then I might say, 32 touches over 20 days, the studies that have shown. Do business with the Hit Lab. We can help you create content. And then boom, all of a sudden the next thing you're going to see is the call to action. If that video struck a nerve with you and we feel like you could help us out, then DM the word content to my account. And we'll reach out and get you enrolled, right? Something so easy. Hook, right? Offer, call to action. Every post you make should have those three things, right? Out of those 6,000 posts that you saw, probably about 3,500 of them didn't have a call to action on the end. I was making just a lot of noise. And I wouldn't even call it a joyful noise. You know what I mean? It was a lot of racket without a lot of productivity, but we learned a lot. Going back to our funnel. Content leads to awareness and discovery, right? Attraction is consideration and conversion, right? Offers is conversion and relationship, and community is relationship and retention. Everybody can agree that being part of a community is important, right? Online, there's multiple communities. All right, check this out. Here's a couple of nuggets for you guys. I had a post in the last 30 days that went extreme. It's still going viral. It's still going crazy. And I'm just going to talk to you guys about why you want to create things that can be shared with others, which, by the way, your little clips that you make for Instagram or whatever, like there's options within Instagram to forward those videos to people's phones directly. I had this conversation with my pastor the other day. In my opinion, I'm wearing the church out. They need to be doing better online. You know, they need to be doing better online. So we were having this conversation. He said, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, imagine this. Every Sunday, there's a 30 to 35 minute sermon that's recorded. That's long form content. You can take that sermon and chop it up into little pieces and make medium and short form content. You could even take that same sermon and just take the audio part only and post it on RSS feeds and call it a podcast from one sermon. One sermon that he does every Sunday, all that content can be generated. All right? Now, let's say he makes a post and it's on Instagram. And I said, all right, there's 350 people sitting out in that congregation. Imagine if you had everybody get out their phone and go to that post and share it at the same time. Who here is old enough to remember the We Are the World campaign from the 80s? Do you guys remember how that song went number one so fast? Every radio station on planet Earth debuted it at the same time. At the same time. Right? So I was like, imagine 350 people that shared it. How many people would that reach at that moment? Then, what if you said, now, I want everybody in here to think of 3 people that need to hear that message and email it to them. That same clip, or send them a text message. 350 times 3, the numbers add up. Right? It's so easy to double a church's congregation. Every member just has to get one person to join in the course of a year, and you doubled your congregation. That's how easy it is to grow. You do that right here. Everybody's right here. They're on it. You're on it. All day, every day. As he alluded to earlier, even in the bathroom. Even in the bathroom. All right? That's why you need to have subtitles on your videos, because the volume's down when they're on the toilet. You know what I mean? So shareable content is the best content. So now, I'm going to show you guys, these pictures are actually dated a little bit. Let me tell you how many times this video has actually been watched right now. Let's refresh. So these were taken about 2 weeks ago. And see where it says 212,000 times it's been watched? It's actually up to 328,000 times since I took this photo. So it's still going. See where it says it's been liked 3,585 times? It's now been liked 5,722 times. It's got 99 comments, but see where it's been shared 8,600 times? It's been shared 13.1 thousand times now. And growing. It's incredibly valuable. It tells you I've earned a couple thousand followers just from that one post on that one platform. The numbers are very reflective on YouTube and so on and so forth. That same video is on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's on LinkedIn. It's on X. It's on TikTok. All of them. Now, here's 3 tips for some shareable content. Strong opening hook, verbally and visually. All right? Being bold in what you say, or maybe a little controversial. That video, believe it or not, was I'm talking to a baseball team about, guys, when your coach is talking to you, look them in the eyes. Show some respect. Well, all the Karens bombarded that post with ADHD stuff, which was not what we were talking about. Right? So we've had a lot of conversations about that and a lot of people saying, man, I see your point. Thanks for doing that. But regardless, those Karens keep driving that sucker up. Instagram's like, man, more people need to see this. It's getting traction. What's in it for Instagram? Don't they want you on there? Right? Don't they want you on there? Absolutely. What's in it for Facebook? They want you on there. And a properly positioned call to action. All right? Opening hook. You have roughly 1 to 3 seconds to grab someone's attention in today's society. It's probably closer to 1 second, guys. Right? On a sales call, Jordan Belfort said you had up to the first 4 seconds are the most critical, right? You got to get their attention quick. Controversial and strong opinions lead to more interaction and engagement. They do, but like controversial don't have to be a bad thing. You can challenge somebody to think differently, and that's called controversy. You can challenge somebody to be more kind, and that's considered controversy if they disagree with it. Right? So you can do a lot of good with this stuff. Call to action. You could miss out on hundreds, if not thousands, of new followers, new audience, or whatever it may be. Always go back and reply to comments. I was bad about this for a long time. I was posting just to post. The people were giving me all the information that I needed to know. I didn't know that I could be qualifying them to buy in the comment section of a post. Right? Which, by the way, everybody else that's looking at that post sees my process. And they're thinking, all right, that's how easy it is to buy? Got it. A deal's being done right in front of everybody. It's extremely powerful. Okay? Take your time to go back and show your appreciation. It will also boost the engagement. What I like to do is, because the comments are so, they happen so frequently now, is I just take 30 minutes 3 times a day. And I go back and I hit them all. Okay? That's simple. How can I make it a standard operating procedure in my life every single day? Okay? Now, save this post if you receive value. See, that's a call to action. That's how easy it is. Comment if you like what you heard. You know, comment controversy if this struck a nerve with you. Whatever it may be. Direct message the word controversy if you want to learn more. I want to extend a couple of offers to you guys, but before I do, what questions do you guys have? I don't surf websites very often because they don't change. If I've looked at it, I'm going to go there again tomorrow and see the exact same thing. But their social media will be different. What you'll find is social media is people's websites. They'll go there before they go to their website to even justify going there first. Right? Instagram and Google are the top 2 places that people go to verify identity or learn how to do something. Right? So they might not make it to nickhyder.com, which I highly encourage you guys to take a look at, if they don't get past Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So, great question, though. What other questions do you guys have? I have a team that does my stuff now. In the beginning, I did every post. I filmed everything and posted it myself and so on and so forth. And I used the same intelligence to make decisions on when it was time to hire a team to do that stuff for me as I did with cutting grass. At some point in time, my time became more valuable spending time with kids or helping a customer than it did on the lawnmower. Right? My wife became more valuable doing other things than cleaning the home. Right? So at some point in time, my time became more valuable to have somebody else do that, for me to invest in a team to help me with that, than it did for me to actually post. I'm a big believer in, you can use schedulers if you want to. They're a great fail-safe. But in the studies and the analytics that we've shown, if you post directly to Instagram and directly to TikTok, it's going to perform better consistently than if you're using a third-party thing to go in there, because Instagram knows you were never in there. You used a third party to get there. Again, what's in it for Instagram? Being on the platform, right? So again, but again, it's what's best for you right now, because that's temporary. It's only that way until you change it, right? So anything that you do today or any decisions you make are not forever. They're temporary. Okay? So when and I'll tell you guys a quick little story. In the insurance business, it's a lot of internet leads. You buy data and you call it and you email it. Sound familiar? All right. So in the insurance world, when I first started, it was 80 calls a day. It took all day. And then it was 100. Now it's about 2,000 because nobody answers the phone. You're not talking to anybody. Okay? But in 2015, my wife and I realized we read a book called Think and Grow Rich, and then another book called The Strangest Secret. And in The Strangest Secret, there was an exercise. He said, get an index card, a little index card, and write 10 of the easiest goals you can do for 30 days in a row. And when you fail, rip it up, write a new card, and start over. Just like AA, right? So our first card was beautiful. I got messy handwriting and it still looked good. I mean, it was color coded. Like we used all designs, like art was on there. Like it was awesome. You know what I mean? And it sucked because I had to rip it up and write a new one the very next day. All right. The reason is because it was 10 of the easiest things we could do 30 days in a row. So my wife and I were like, yeah, we're going to eat good, right? We're going to drink like 10 gallons of water. We're going to work out 14 times a day. You know what I mean? We're going to spend 19 hours a day with our kids. We're going to sleep. None of it added up. And we ended up ripping up that card the very next day. Had to write a new one. It was on the 16th card that we ripped up that my wife and I realized that we were actually the problem. It was all us. First thing we learned is instead of saying we were going to drink all the water in the world, just drink water. Could we do it in bed sick? 30 days in a row. That was the task. So we actually learned how to set goals with that exercise. All right? After the 16th card, we didn't rip up another one for a very long time because we learned how to set goals, we learned how to finish. Learned a lot about ourselves. But one of the things that we made a commitment to do was call 100 people a day, every day. We did that 532 days in a row. Okay, back then it took all day to call 100 people. And I went back and tracked it. We had 4 deaths in the family, 8 or 9 vacations. My son traveled, we were all over the place in baseball tournaments. We got sick. Life happened. But my wife and I were taking turns going to the back of the SUV at ballparks on Saturdays getting our calls in because we made a commitment. Why not 533 days? Because that was the first day that we couldn't call 100 people because there was so much inbound traffic. And the whole time we're calling those people, we're posting online and we're building a brand. So that I hated every one of those calls with all my passion. And I couldn't wait until the day that I didn't have to do it anymore. And then in 2017 and on, my wife and I became the first people in the entire company to personally produce over $1 million without buying one internet lead, all inbound traffic. We got life back. We got quality back. We got more time with our kids. We got more vacations. We got everything. We built something that we could lean on and rely on that we still utilize today. All from calling 100 people a day, all while making 2 to 3 posts a day. And by the way, every post that we made for those 532 days in a row was, as a matter of fact, it's the same message we still post today on about our insurance stuff. Another win for the customer, who's next? That's it. If I sell solar, you don't really care how the solar works. You just want to know that it does work. I don't care how the pizza's made. I just want to know how I get it and when I get it. Right? So nobody cares about health insurance. I didn't either. But they did need to know that we were the best solution to their problems, and we don't win until you win. And that's all we marketed over and over and over again with a different photo or a different video. One message. What's your message? What one-word problem do you solve in the market? What is your brand positioning statement? I showed you mine earlier, right? Breaking down the playbook of other successful people so you can have success too. Everything that we do is in line with that. What's your mission? Okay? Now, Coach Burt. Who knows Coach Burt? Anybody know Coach Burt? Guys, dude, all I can tell you is that I want to be that guy when I grow up. He's got an unbelievable home in Murfreesboro. He's a nice guy, by the way. Unbelievable home in Murfreesboro. He's got a condo at the top of the 505 where the Greatness Factory is, where he owns 3 floors. He's got a lodge in Christiana, Tennessee, where there's events happening today. He's got a place in Watercolor, Florida, right, where he holds events as well. And when he needs to get there in a hurry, he just hops on his plane that he owns to get there. He's did it right. His portfolio is unbelievable. Now, some of you out there be like, I'll never have that. Why not? A man's life or what his thoughts make of it. Do you not think you're good enough for that? That's the first problem you've got to solve. Right? Every time my flight gets delayed at the airport, I call my wife and I'm like, this is the last time. Right? When people say, what time does your plane leave? My response is going to be, when I get there. I believe that, which means it's going to happen. Chris, did you ever believe you would have that blue car that you got? That's right. But no, all your friends didn't believe it. They laughed at you. That's right. If y'all ain't seen it, you can go to any car show in town and you'll find it. You know what I'm saying? So Coach Burt and I, we've partnered on the Greatness Factory. It's unbelievable. And we're offering everybody a free tour. I do a mastermind once a month for free. And you can register for it at hitlab.studio. That's the URL. But on April 18th from 12:30 to 2:30, we're giving a free private tour of the Greatness Factory. You can see the podcast studio, the 109-seat theater, and the Money Lab and the Dream Foundry, 2 other studio rooms in there. And then Coach is going to coach everybody there for 1 hour for free. And guys, I can't tell you how much I think of Coach and his framework. His process is unbelievable. I've learned so much from him. You'd be crazy not to take us up on that offer. And then the Hit Lab has what's called a brand accelerator program. Everybody here needs to accelerate their brand. So I made this program because remember we were in the insurance business and our insurance agents had content problems and they all wanted to stop calling leads. Every one of them wanted to stop calling leads. So the office that the Hit Lab is in was literally a networking and recruiting center where we built a whole bunch of studio space to figure out what worked and what didn't. And the Brand Accelerator program was for insurance agents. It's a place where they could come in, get batch content in 90 minutes. 3 or 4 different scenes, 90 minutes worth of video content that they can repurpose and use on all their social media platforms, along with static images. I talked with Jeff, and I wanted to extend you guys an offer. We charge $1,400 a month for that, month to month. I'm sorry, we charge $1,800 a month for that. Month to month for you guys, we're going to do it for $1,400 or $800 a month with a 12-month contract. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what Brad told me. Who here has the ability to make an $800 a month decision in their life? Awesome. I'll be seeing you guys real soon then. If you don't, your business ain't where it needs to be. You got to have a marketing budget. You got to have a marketing budget. And you can guess shooting content on your own if you'd like, or you can work with a team of professionals that's going to get the best out of you on day one. All right, what's that include? 90 minutes of film, all recorded footage. We're going to be taking static lifestyle images all throughout that session. A strategy call to get you rocking and rolling so you know what you're talking about and what the aim of it is, what your target is. The access to the monthly Brand Accelerator Mastermind. We have a Facebook group that's quite the community. We're going to give you a content calendar as well so you know what your goals need to be and when and how often you need to post based on those goals. All right. It's absolutely quite the attraction. All right. Now, from that video content, again, 90 minutes worth of content, you can create long form content. You can make B-roll or scissor roll content. Like you can just take, images. You can take videos with no sound of you just putting on clothes at the place, putting on makeup, looking in front of the camera, setting up or whatever, and have somebody another audio file or a quote or something that you guys love, or even you talking, and put on top of that. Right. You can get short form content. You can get carousel and photo content, and you can turn that into audio only podcast episodes. Everybody here needs a podcast, even if you don't believe that yet. I promise you do. Everybody says there's too many. Everybody already has a podcast. We'll go down on Broadway. Everybody's got a guitar. Right? Everybody's got a guitar. All right? My partner, John Mediana, offered one other thing for you guys, which I think is great. Something that he normally charges $20,000 for. Guys, this is what your competition's spending. This is what your competition's spending. All right? He's going to take that video for you if you don't have time to edit it or don't know how. And he's going to give you 3 months of edited content for only $6,000. 15 pieces of long form content, 30 pieces of short form content, and 25 lifestyle images. And you take that and you put it together with what you can do with your phone by yourself, and you've got quite the content output. A lot of capacity and a lot of eyeballs on your stuff. Okay? The biggest reason people don't do anything like this is because you're actually not that serious about what you do. If you were, how could you not? People say, I can't afford to do that, Nick. No, you actually can't afford not to do it. So get out of your own way. Instead of saying, I can't do something, say, how can I? And you'll find the answer if you work hard enough. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. Everybody get out your phones real quick and scan this right here. We're going to price guarantee this until 7 p.m. tomorrow. If it takes longer than that to make a decision, you ain't serious. The truth hurts sometimes. Everybody got it? That work? Perfect. That's literally where you fill it out. There's no money to lock in that rate. You are filling out that form fill that it takes you to. And last time I checked, Jim, it wasn't asking for their bank account on that page, was it? I didn't think so. So everybody here should do it. Go home and talk to whoever makes the decision in your house if it ain't you, and figure out how to make it happen, and I look forward to working with you. It's not a matter of if you're going to do it, it's when, right? And the longer you wait to start, just that's much longer it's going to take you to finish, right? But your competition's doing it. So you're either serious about it or you're not. Okay? The greatest thing that my wife and I ever did was make this commitment to ourselves. It changed our lives. And 2023 was the first year that we made more money off of our personal brand than we did working. Right? And it took us about 3 years to build that. And all I can tell you is it was worth it. So if you're not doing it and you're not where you want to be, how's that working for you?